Mali yung mga akusasyon po ng mga DDS, ng kampo ng mga Duterte, na yung ating Pangulo gustong isubo sa gira sa China. Yung ating bansa, walang matinong leader. Hindi lang matino ang gagawa noon. Matino yung ating Pangulo, mga kababayan. At makikita ninyo, ayaw niya ng gulo. Kaya lang yung narrative ng mga Duterte, yung ating Pangulo bangag. Sino ba ang bangag? Di ba yung mga bangag, totoong bangag, sila yung palaaway, masama ang ugali, at madalas matrubol. Sino ngayon ang natutrubol? Hello po mga kababayan, si Dante Maravillas, Bicolano Albayano vlogger. So pag-usapan po natin yung mga naging statements ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Nagpa-press con kasi siya after the 46 ASEAN Summit na ginawa doon sa Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. At sa kanyang pagharap sa media po, ang daming mga na-take up na mga importanteng issue. Kasama din po sa napag-usapan na itanong sa ating Pangulo yung impeachment laban kay Sara Duterte. So sabi ng ating Pangulo, walang nagbabago sa kanyang posisyon. Kontra pa rin siya sa impeachment. Pero kontra din siya doon sa mga sinasabi ng mga kakampi ni Sara. Si Bongo, si Roque, gustong magbigay ng kondisyon, si Bato, para sa reconciliation na ino-offer ng ating Pangulo. Di ba? Ayan Marcos reaffirms opposition to BP Sara's impeachment rejects conditional reconciliation. Tapos, napag-usapan din yung sabi sa result ng survey ng Pulse Asia na yung kanyang trust rating bumagsak ng todo. Mas may tiwala pa yung mga mamamayang Pilipino kay Sara at kay Diggo. Eh sabi ng ating Pangulo, madaming ibang survey. Let's not base it on one. Let's look at other surveys before we decide. Know your source. Imperfect information makes you make imperfect decisions. The more perfect your information, the more perfect your decision will be. Yung nagpa-survey po, False Asia. Hindi nga tumama doon sa midterm election po. Yung hindi po mapasok sa Magic 12, siyang nanalo. Maniwala pa kayo sa mga pasurvey nila. Lalo ngayon, ginawang palabigasan yung pasurvey. Ang layo pa nga ng eleksyon po sa 2028. Nagpapasurvey na naman kung sino yung tatakbong mga presidente. Mga presidential. Wala nang katapusan po yung eleksyon. Ganon sila maghanap buhay. Pinaiikot po yung ating mga mamamayang Pilipino. Pilit na minamanipula po nila. Huwag kami mga survey firm. O ngayon, pakinggan natin mga kababayan yung press con ng ating Pangulo sa Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Ito siya, mga kababayan.
Meeting here for India under the chairmanship of Malaysia. Our chair was Prime Minister Anwar.
Kapiyan with the media sa Kuala Lumpur.
And I think from the news releases or some of the material that has been produced for this meeting, the two main topics really were Myanmar and unilateral tariff schedules being imposed on the different countries, ASEAN member states. In terms of Myanmar, I think we have it's something that a couple of us actually, member states in ASEAN have been going to ASEAN and saying what we tried to do was with the 5 points of consensus that was agreed with between ASEAN and Myanmar. Not only has that improved the situation, has it not improved the situation, if we are to be very pragmatic or clear-eyed is the term that I use about it, it's clear that, in fact, the situation has gotten worse.
Ayun, introduction ng statement ng ating Pangulo. Dito tayo sa question and answer. Yung mga tanong ng ating mga taga mainstream media kasama ng ating Pangulo covering the ASEAN Summit.
Nabanggit po ni Minda Secretary Tereso yung about po sa 300 million from the ADB. 400 million, sorry. Sir, gaano kalaking bagay po ito sa development po ng Mindanao?
Oh, malaki. Malaki. At ang ADB, this was part of the BIMP-YAGA discussion. At the ADB made commitments, as it has always done, because ADB is really our counselor when it comes to the BIMP-YAGA projects. $400 million, as we put together with the downstream effects of that. And the reason that the ADB, because we can see that there will be very advantageous downstream effects to that, is a big deal. Especially Mindanao actually is I think if we are going to shepherd it and to help it be as successful and do everything we can to make BARM successful. We always talk about land of promise that we never were able to see the promise of. I think there's a chance now that we will, because there's no more fight. There's no more fighting. Well, there's some criminality, but it's not the full-scale, large-scale fighting like we had during the secessionist war.
Kita ninyo yung ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Kahit mga kababayan, tinutuligsa ng mga ilan man lang po, minority sa mga taga Mindanao. Yung mga supporters man lang po ni Digong at ni Sara Duterte. Pero majority sa mga leaders ng Mindanao, sumusuporta po sa ating Pangulong Bongbong. Yung ilan man lang po sa Davao Region, pero yung outside Davao City po, sa Davao Region, kalyado na ng ating Pangulong Bongbong. You see? Pero yung ating Pangulo, hindi man po pinopolitika ang kahit sino. Sila man lang po ang nag-aakusa ng politika. Kami nga rito sa Bicol po, marami yung mga dilawan dito, lalo yung Naga. Pero tingnan ninyo yung mga projects dito mga kababayan. Bumaba ng projects. Yung Marcos administration, ganun din po sa Mindanao. Ito yung sinasabi ng ating Pangulo sa Land of Promise Mindanao.
Malaki ang malaki ang kumpiyansa ko sa pagbulusok ng Mindanao. And ADB has always been there, but also OIC, the Organization of Islamic Countries, Malaysia has always been very Japan has always been very present. ADB has always been very present.
Medyo mali yata yung term na nagamit ng ating Pangulo. Ang sabi niya, bulusok. Ang nasa isip niya sigurado, hindi man bulusok. Ang bulusok kasi pababa. Hindi ba? Ang minimi niya, yung pataas. Hindi man bulusok ang pataas. Ang ibig niyang sabihin, yung pag-unlad, mabilis na pag-unlad na ngayon ng region ng Mindanao. Nagamit niyang term, bulusok. Anyway, ituloy natin yung press con.
So, even the EU has always been part of the peace process, and now the investment into BARM. So, I hold great hope for the future of BARM, for the future of Mindanao.
So one more lang po. So during your intervention sa plenary session po, nabanggit niyo po yung pag-push sa Code of Conduct sa South China Sea.
Push ng
Code of Conduct po sa South China Sea.
I always push the Code of Conduct. Always. It's critical to everything that's happening. You know, if you have a Code of Conduct, essentially, freeze frame muna. Okay, hanggang dyan na lang tayo. Wag na nating palalain. Tapos yan, kung usap tayo will request, that will contain mechanisms also of adjudication or trying to de-escalation process.
Mali yung mga akusasyon po ng mga DDS, ng kampo ng mga Duterte, na yung ating Pangulo gustong isubo sa gira sa China. Yung ating bansa, walang matinong leader. Hindi lang matino ang gagawa noon. Matino yung ating Pangulo, mga kababayan. At makikita ninyo, ayaw niya ng gulo. Kaya lang yung narrative ng mga Duterte, yung ating Pangulo bangag. Sino ba ang bangag? Di ba yung mga bangag, totoong bangag, sila yung palaaway, masama ang ugali, at madalas matrubol. Sino ngayon ang natutrubol? Narap sa patong-patong na problema, mga kababayan, yung ating Pangulo ba o sila? Doon ninyo malalaman kung sino talaga, makikita kung sino talaga ang bangag. Malabo po na bangag yung ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. So, tingnan naman ninyo.
Kasama lahat yan. So, I think that I think it's well recognized. It's not just the Philippines who feels that way. Everyone in ASEAN feels that way. Everyone in Asia feels that way.
Sir, just want to ask more details about your conversation with the Chinese premier. Did you talk about the situation in the West Philippine Sea?
No, I only spoke to him. He was sat. It wasn't in a meeting. He was sitting next to me at lunch. I was sitting next to the Chinese premier and the foreign minister of UAE.
Or at least, did you get any commitment po from the Chinese side on your call to...
Wala. Tinanong ko lang sa kanya, sabi, I just want, what is the Chinese perspective of this new unilateral tariff schedule? And he says, well, Mr. Trump has his own, seems to have his own idea, but we certainly do not want this to continue. It's not good for everyone. We don't want this. So that's we were just walking along. Hindi kami nakaupo na nag-usap ng ganun. But I was very, very curious to get a little bit beyond the party line because we've heard what China says on TV, dun sa mga nila. But to be able to get the chance to talk to the premier, I thought I was hoping to get. And yun ganun din. I think. Yes, you can see that it's sincere on their part that they do not want this. They do not want this to carry on. They want everything to be normalized.
DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla yesterday said that nakapili na kayo ng bagong chief PNP. Is it true? Kung totoo, Mr. President, sino po siya?
Actually, it's oh God, it's the answer is more complicated than that, as ever. I would rather not use this forum to announce that. I think I should talk to them first, because the official decision has not been made. They should hear whoever it is should hear about it first from me. Not through the news, but yes, we're very clear on what we're going to do next.
Clarify ko lang po, Mr. President, may napili na po kayo? May napili na po kayo? Meron na po. Talking about peace and order, security, Mr. President, ano po yung magiging marching orders niyo doon sa bagong chief PNP? Especially na gusto nyo i-intensify yung police visibility sa mga kalye.
Well, what will I tell the new chief PNP? The new chief PNP is a very senior officer in the PNP. He knows the situation, and I will actually tell them, carry on what you are doing, because we have very good statistics concerning crime. And for example, there's a report here, Metro Manila crime rate is down by 23% in 6 months. If we are going to look here at the crime result at the national level, Where are the index crimes? Eto. From the period of last year, same period last year, ito na lang, focus ka kasi ayokong basahin lahat. So, 15,156 last year in the period of January 1 to May 16. And the period from January 1 to May 16 of 2025, it went down from 15,156 to 11,493. That minus lahat, when you make that comparison of January 1st to May 16 of last year to this year, everything, murder, homicide, physical injury, robbery, theft, rape, carnapping, all went down. So they must be doing something right. Now, what we have been talking about is making policemen more visible. This is to make people feel safer. I perfectly understand that. I perfectly understand that. That basta, kahit pa paano, may pulis dyan. May umiikot dito na pulis. Konting sigaw lang, tatakbo na yan. That's important. It's important to people. So, despite the fact that maraming maganda namang statistic, na maganda naman ang nagiging trabaho ng kapulisan natin in terms of law enforcement, kailangan din, hindi sapat na marami tayong nababawasan natin yung krimen. Kailangan nakikita yung pulis para feeling safe naman yung mga tao. That's why this new program of Cops on the Beat has been initiated.
Mr. President, one last thing na lang on my part. Doon sa podcast ninyo, narinig ko doon sa pagkakasabi nyo, yung 5-minute immediate police response. Will you please expound on that, Mr. President?
Well, first of all, we have been working we've been working since last year on this. It's not so easy, but it's good to centralize the emergency calling. And right now, actually, the response time, meron ba tayong response time dito? Yung response time natin, bumaba na rin, especially in the urban areas. Siguro, of course, wala. There's...
Ang galing ng ating Pangulo. Pati nga sa druga, war on drugs. Ito nga yung latest ngayon, 1 billion worth ng shabu recovered sa Angeles City. Yan, Barangay Pampang, Angeles City, noong Sunday. Yung war on drugs ng ating Pangulo, bloodless po, bilyon-bilyon ang nakakumpiska. Malayo po yung Duterte administration, 14 billion lang yung nakumpiska nila in 3 years time. Sa ating Pangulo, 43 billion in 3 years time. At ito yung latest, another 1 billion worth ng shabu na kumpiska. O diba, di 44 billion na po.
There are no statistics here. No. So we're trying to centralize the emergency calls. So pagtatawag ka ng emergency, whatever, isa lang yung number. Kasi bawat bayan, halos bawat probinsya may sarili. So we'll centralize it para maging mas mabilis. At diretso ka agad makadispatch siya ng police pagka may problema, pagka may gulo. So we are hoping that at least in the urban areas, that we are hoping 5 minutes. That's the aspiration, once again. I hope, I think naman if we have the cops on the beat and they're in good direct communication with their dispatchador, then that will be the system that will be a good quick response. Pero kailangan mabuong system. One of the problems with the emergency call system is the statistic that about 70% are prank calls. So that's why we have to see how we can minimize that.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, good
Last Friday, Executive Secretary Bersamin announced that he did not accept his resignation and that the economic managers were retained, and there were other movements that were announced. The Executive Secretary also said that there would be new announcements on movements by tomorrow. Would you like to share with us?
Nope, not yet. I'll share with you one thing. That there, as we were doing the performance review, and when we see shortfalls in performance, I don't leave it at that. I look and ask, why is that the case? And that is why we asked all the heads of agencies to also submit their courtesy resignations, because we have to look at deeper, not just look at the secretary. The secretaries, I think, all of them. Some have to be moved around. Some have chosen to leave, or no longer think they can contribute. But in any case, we are looking at the problem deeply. Siguro by now, I don't do things pang optics. If there is a problem, I like to fix it. So that's what we are doing. So expect us to be doing a rigorous performance review, not only at the cabinet level, but even deeper.
Related lang po dun sa sagot, sir, kung pwede lang po.
Okay, sige.
Alright. Sir, you already mentioned that you don't do things for optics. That was the criticism of some of your detractors who are allied with the former President Duterte. And they also said that the courtesy resignations are not necessary and that they want you instead to resign. How do you want to respond to that? Or if you...
I will resign?
Yeah, that's what they want.
Ba't ko gagawin yun? At wala sa...
Tama po, yung ating Pangulo. Ba't gagawin niya yon? Para matuwa si Sara? Ever since, yun ang ambisyon, mga kababayan ng mga Duterte. Kaya pumayag na maging vice presidente. O diba, sa unang taon pa lang, gusto nagpatalsikin, ikudita si Martin Romualdez. Para mawala, mga kababayan, yung proteksyon ng ating Pangulo sa impeachment. At dinesignate na nga ni Sara yung kanyang sarili as inappoint niya as designated survivor. Kasama yon sa articles of impeachment. Manawagan nila, mag-resign daw yung ating Pangulo para magpiesta-piesta kayo. Patunay lang na simula pa noon, pinaglalawayan na ninyo yung Palasyo Malacanang. Laway na laway kayo to take over hanggang 2028 pa kayong maglalaway. Diba? Hindi nga naayos ni Sara Duterte yung DepEd. Pagkatapos, gusto ninyong iluklok si Sara. Gusto ninyong mag-resign yung ating Pangulo. Ano yan? Ang kontrata ng ating Pangulo hanggang 2028, maghintay kayo. Yan sabi ng ating Pangulo. Ba't gagawin ko yun? Hindi ako umatrasan niya sa responsibility. Hindi yan ang natura ko. Ayan yung ating Pangulo.
Ali ko yung tinatakbuhan ng problema.
Magandang gabi po, Mr. President. Sir, you mentioned during your podcast na sawa na yung mga tao sa politika, and yet next week magsisimula na po yung impeachment trial against Vice President Sara Duterte.
I'm not sure I see the train of thought there. Sawa ang tao ng politika pero may impeachment.
Yes, sir, because it's a political proceeding. So do you see this as a start of another political chaos?
The legislators, the senators, and the House are going to decide on how to handle it. I don't think that they've made any decisions yet in that regard. So let's let it's in there. It's there. It's nasa kanila yan eh. Mostly sa Senado, pero siyempre nandiyan pa rin ang House dahil sila mag-prosecute. So they will have to decide between the two houses how they were going to conduct this. You remind, I was part of the Corona impeachment. We were making rules as we went along, and I think that's what will happen here too. So we'll see what happens.
Sir, I understand malinaw naman po yung pahayag nyo that you have nothing to do with the impeachment trial. But do you wish na sana hindi na lang ito mangyari so as hindi na lang...
How many times do we have to say that? I didn't want impeachment. Lahat ng kakampi ko sa Kongreso hindi nag-file ng impeachment complaint. Yung mga nag-file ng impeachment complaint, hindi mo masasabing kaya kong utusan o pagsabihan na ito yung gagawin mo. So, why do I have to keep explaining that I did not want impeachment?
Mr. President,
Hi.
again, this is in reference to your interview in the podcast.
Tama yung ating Pangulo. Hindi man niya pwedeng diktahan yung Makabayan Black. Sila yung nag-file niyan. Wala siyang influensya sa akbayan. Wala siyang influensya, mga kababayan, sa civil society group na kasama sa nag-file. Tira niya, Mr. Maravillas, di ba yung pumirma sa fourth impeachment complaint? Mismong si Sandro, anak ng presidente. Nire-respeto ng ating Pangulo yung desisyon ng kanyang anak kasi may paliwanag naman po si Sandro at maintindihan ninyo kung bakit gano'n ang ginawa ni Sandro na first siya na pumirma. Tatay ko anyang pinagbantaan. You see? Tatay ko pinagbantaan na niyang papatayin. Nanay ko. Tapos, si Speaker Martin, tito ko, pinagbantaan. Nagtaka pa niya kayo? Correct. Ang magtaka kayo, yung kapatid mga kababayan, na si Amy Marcos, kapatid ng Pangulo, kumampi pa sa nagbanta. Kasama ngayon doon sa Doha, Qatar. Pumunta mga kababayan sa Doha, Qatar si Sara Duterte para mag-celebrate daw ng birthday sa Dahig. Dumaan sa Doha, Qatar. Kasama si Amy Marcos. Diyan kayo magtaka, mga kababayan, kung bakit yung kapatid nandun, kakampi ng nagbanta na papatayin yung kanyang kapatid. Pero si yun ang abnormal. Pero si Sandro Marcos na pumirma sa fourth impeachment po, normal yun. Kasi anak siya ng presidente na pinagbantaan ni Sara. Naintindihan na ninyo? Anyway, ituloy natin yung press con, mga kababayan.
You said that you're open to reconciling with the Dutertes. And after you said that, certain conditions were floated. For example,
Bongo said, no. That's not how reconciliation works. You don't put conditions to reconcile.
Correct.
If you're sincere, you want to reconcile, let's sit in front of you. Ano ba talaga problema? Paano nangyari ito? Tanggalin natin ang problema. Pero sasabihin mo, hindi ako makikipag-usap hanggang ibigay mo sa akin ito. Wala pupuntahan na.
Yeah, and that condition.
Tapos na. That's not reconciliation. That's not even a negotiation. That's demanding. Those are setting conditions. That,
Ang kondisyon na gustong ingin nila, ibalik daw si Tatay Digong. Wala na yun sa kontrol ng ating presidente. Unang-una, walang kinalaman yung ating Pangulo sa kaso ni Digong. Ang kaso ni Digong, Crimes Against Humanity. Final, paulit-ulit natin itong ginagawa kasi paulit-ulit nating pinapaliwanag ito kasi paulit-ulit nilang nilalaso ng isipan ng ating mga mamamayan that the President has something to do with the crimes against humanity sa kaso ni Digong. Hindi po yun totoo. Ang kaso ni Digong, final ng mga private complainants, tinulungan ng mga church-based organization, ng mga Makabayan Black ni Trillanes. 2017 pa po, final. Wala pa sa Panguluan yung ating Pangulo. Wala nga sa gobyerno yung ating Pangulo. Nagkataon, yung warrant of arrest ni Digong, lumabas, presidente yung ating Pangulo. And we have obligation sa Interpol. Kahit hindi tayo member ng ICC, yung ICC matalino din siyempre. Iniling yung tulong, iserve yung warrant of arrest through Interpol. Member tayo ng Interpol at may obligasyon tayo. Kaya po nakipag-cooperate yung ating Pangulo. Sabi nga natin, yun ang na-overlook ng mga Duterte. Umali sa ICC, hindi umali sa Interpol. Checkmate siya ngayon. Tapos, isisisi ninyo sa ating Pangulo. Malabo yung mga argumento ninyo. Tapos, gusto ninyo humingi ng kondisyon sa reconciliation. Naitanong man lang nga yun ni Katunying. In that reconciliation, hindi man lang sa mga Duterte, sa lahat ng umaaway sa ating Pangulo. Ang sabi nga natin, wala kayo sa posisyon na humingi ng kondisyon. Ano kayo, sinisurte? Yan sabi ng ating Pangulo, no. Hindi pwede ang ganon. Ba, mga kababayan, yung ating Pangulo.
Ano sasagutin ng kabila? Etong gagawin mo. Sasagutin mo, hindi. Gagawin ko yan kung gawin mo naman ito. Wala nang pupuntahan yun. Tapos na ang usapan.
So, how far are you willing to go, Mr. President, to pursue this reconciliation?
Put it this way. I don't know. What will come up? What's needed? Kaya ko bang gawin? Hindi ko kayang gawin. Hindi naman ganun. You cannot prejudge at the... I'm going to talk to them only this much. Hindi. Kailangan sinasabi ko nga, bukas ka eh. Kahit anong sabihin mo, pakikinggan ko. Kung talagang tapat ako na nais ko mag-reconcile, edi isipin ko lang, lahat ng hiningi mo, lahat ng hinanakit mo, kung kaya ko ayusin, di ayusin ko para tapos na to. Ayoko nga ng kaaway.
Good evening po, Mr. President. Any update po doon sa effort ho ng pamahalaan na may abot ho sa lahat ng mga Pilipino yung 20 pesos kada kilong bigas, at kamusta ho yung pagtanggap dito ng mga Pilipino, ng mga mamamayan po?
Well, so, hindi naman nakakagulat na siyempre, tuwan-tuwa yung mga qualified na tumanggap. Kaya tinutuloy natin yan. Yung mga nagsasabi, hindi, ano lang yan, medyo, ano lang yan, pampapogi lang yan, pang cosmetic lang yan. Well, they're fair to have that opinion, but kung it's unsustainable. It's really the what people are saying. Watch me sustain it, and then we'll talk in May of 2028. Natuloy ba o hindi? We found a way to do it. We could not do it before. Hindi kaya kasi hindi pa kaya ng sistema. Iba pa yung presyo ng bigas noon. Hindi pa tayo Kaya yung mga bilateral na ginagawa namin, we're making deals with different countries para yung presyo mapako na hindi pa bago-bago. Kahit anong mangyari down the road, nagawa na ngayon natin. Wala tayong ganun noon eh. Ngayon meron na. Kaya na natin gawin yung 20 pesos. And other things that DA is able to sell rice, the prices come down. But at the same time, on the other side, tinitiyak natin na ang pagbili, ang presyo na pagbili sa farmers, magandang presyo naman. Para naman yung farmers natin, magandang kanilang hanap buhay. And the difference there, that's what the government is paying for.
Sir, according to the latest Pulse Asia survey, your trust rating is significantly lower than that of Vice President Sara Duterte and former President Duterte. And the previous surveys also showed a pattern of decline in your ratings. Can we get a...
Wait, what survey?
Pulse Asia, sir.
Pulse?
Yes. Can we get your comment on that?
Nagtawanan lang ng ating Pangulo.
Madami pang survey.
Pulse Asia nga
not base it on one.
Sir, follow-up lang. How do you plan to arrest yung decline in your surveys?
Well, again, let's look at other surveys before we act. Know your source. That's always a imperfect information makes you make imperfect decisions. The more perfect your information, the more perfect your decision will be. That is one source of information, and you have to understand where it's actually coming from.
Alright. Alam ng ating Pangulo, Pulse Asia pa, may-ari niyan mga kababayan, yung mga nasa academe na dilawan. Yung mga Duterte, hybrid dilawan po. Si Digong mismo, inappoint ni Coricong as Vice Mayor, doon nagsimula yung karir ni Digong. Hybrid dilawan. Yung tatay, Marcos. Yung nanay, dilawan. Kaya kung mag-isip sila, parehas na mga dilawan, mas malala lang, mga kababayan, yung mga Duterte. Asa pa kayo? Yung mga dilawan, ang agenda ngayon, siraan yung ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos para ipos nila yung kanilang manok na dilawan sa 2028. Yun ang mga agenda niya. Panoorin ninyo yung mga video analysis ni Ronald Llamas. Laging magkakasama sila sa mga interviews, yung may-ari ng Pulse Asia, si Mr. Holmes. Wag kami. Kaya napangiti na lang yung ating Pangulo. Know your source, anya. Hindi natin yan siniseryoso mga kababayan. Kasi alam natin yung mga bitukan yan. Yung likaw ng mga bitukan yan. At itong ating programa mga kababayan, atid sa inyo nitong ating mga sponsors. Fairmax, Firming and Lifting Cream. Pinapay po sa mga pulses in affected area. Mainam po ito sa mga pains at paninigas ng mga kaso-kasuan. Ito sa mukha naman yung application, anti-aging, Automax po siya. Ito ay Glow 60 mga kababayan. Whitening po siya. Made in South Korea. Ito naman po, Ningxia Red Mix Fruit Drink. Gawa po siya sa goji berry. May anti-cancer properties po siya. At sa mga nagana po ng malinis and spacious fitness gym, pumunta lang po kayo sa aming Colossal Fitness Gym. May Grab ka rental din po kami. At bills payment po sa aming office. At saka sa mga mahilig po sa mga imported bags, manood po kayo sa live selling ni Madam Aileen Rosales sa kanyang Aileen Closet po. Pati mga shoes, ito yung kanya po. Ito yung kanyang page. Kita ninyo, napakagandang mga online selling po siya. Si Madam Aileen Rosales. At cellphone number niya po, 773-798-7816. Ito naman po yung bago naming product na binibenta online. Eye Glow Serum, whitening po siya. Tingnan ninyo yung epekto sa aking anak na architect before and now. Yung mga inquiries po ninyo, dumiretso na lang kayo sa kanyang Facebook account, Riz Maravillas.